Horizon by MBM online class webinar. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Azalia as the MC opening of today's event. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Erwin Tenggono. He has been working in the industrial world for 30 years, especially in distribution, export, consumer, and medical device. Currently, he is an advisory at Halodoc. Today's will be guided by Richard Stejo. He is the head of Master Management I3L School of Business. And then the evaluation form to get an e-certificate will be distributed at the end of the event. So make sure all of you to follow the entire event if you want to get an e-certificate. Today's event will be very exciting and full of knowledge. Without further ado, Mr. Richard, the stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Atta, for the warm greeting. So I would like to greet a very good afternoon for the student and participant to the webinar, which is titled Intuitive Leadership. Why this is important? And then what is the connection with the management? As we know, managing a companies, including the life science industries, require of managing people. The skill of managing people, one of the important component is the leadership. And also, human is a social and complex creature, and you need a certain set of skill and knowledge in order to implement it with a good efficiency, so that we can run the company, we can do all of the activities, in this case, in the life science industries. Today, we will have a very special and respected guest, which is the advisory board of Halodoc. I would like to welcome Pak Erwin Tenggono. Pak. Good afternoon, Pak.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pak. We are very honored to have you here, Pak. And
thank you.
We really hope that you can share a glimpse of your knowledge and insight to all of us and the student here, Pak. So today's topic, we are talking about intuitive leadership, Pak. Maybe, to stimulate, to do the ice breaking, Pak. What is this leadership, Pak? Maybe you can explain to all of the students and participants, what is this leadership, how to make it more like a very cogent and concise way so that we can understand it in the in a nutshell.
Wow, before I start, I got a question. Normally I give a question to the students.
Yes, but you can you can, of course, but you can give us the question first, but feel free, but
no, I'm kidding. Thank you. If you ask me about leaderships, I think a lot of people think a lot of different kind of statement. But if you for my first, if you ask me, I will give you one sentence. Leadership is about influence. Wherever you are, how you make impact to other people's life, how you make impact to the business. That's your leadership. That's all I think, Richard. Thank you.
I see. So that the keyword is that to impact and influence other people, Pak. So that these people will follow your leads, will follow your examples, Pak. Is that right, Pak?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're right, Pak Richard.
Yes. So I see one participant is raising their hand. So what you can do is you can write down all of your questions under the question and answer, which is under the menu below, just beside the participant. You can click and you can type your question. We will discuss about your question after the session. But and then I would like to ask, Pak, because this topic have the word intuitive, Pak. So what does this intuitive have in relation to the relationship leadership, Pak? What does this intuitive do, Pak?
It's an interesting question. Actually, when the first time I got this topic, I'm quite surprising too. I say, why intuitive? It's like, what we call in Indonesia ngeramal gitu ya. It's like I become a
fortune telling.
Fortune teller. So I try to find a magic ball, but I cannot find. If I think in my sharing, I will share a bit. If you ask me about the intuitive, it's like you use your sensing, yeah, to decide something. It's not an easy thing, frankly speaking. Uh, it's not about wrong and right sometimes, but it's about what's your belief. It's about your wisdom. It's about like sometimes what you want to take decision, how God want to talk through you to take that decision, something like that. It's very difficult to explain it. I hope in my sharing, I will through several slides, I will try to make it more clear. Actually, I'm learning too, Pak Richard.
Oh, okay, Pak. So, if you want to share the slides, Pak, feel free to let us know, Pak, so that
Certainly, I make, if you don't mind, I will give some short presentation, and after that, start from that we can through a discussion. Is it okay with you?
Yes, Pak. Okay, Pak. So maybe you want to play a video, Pak, about the Halodoc, Pak, or maybe some slides, Pak.
Can yeah, certainly. Can I know I sent a video to Evan. Can Evan play it for me, or should I play by myself?
I think you need to be upgraded to the co-host, Pak. So in
So I
order for you
should.
to play the video.
No,
Yeah,
no.
Evan, yes. Can you please share the video? Oh, wow, Pak. So what I can see here is you are an advisory board of Halodoc, and I would say, Pak, Halodoc is also like a very good platform, Pak. So you are like I would say like doing this online in unison with the doctors, Pak. I am also very curious to see how are you, I mean, how we are implementing this leadership, Pak. Yeah, especially you are not a doctor, but you can coordinate with the medical doctor. But usually, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, usually medical doctor are kind of have pride, but yeah. So usually like, okay, I am a medical doctor. I need somebody who are more intelligent than me, but so are there any tips, but on how to conduct this, but leadership in the Halodoc, but maybe as an example, but.
Okay. Yeah. It's a. I should say, like, when we are talking about technology or digital things in the new environment, of course we use a lot of what we call a sensing. Yeah. Sensing is like you try to predict what will happen in the future. You try to make a lot of decision through your instinct, through your experience. Sometimes it's like out of the box. So I agree with you. When we are talking about intuitive things, when you try to create something, You need that, especially for digital. But I believe a lot, intuitive can be very in a broad spectrum. Yeah, can be end to end. If we are in the healthcare business, because it's a life science business, I need a lot of things. You cannot do as easy as you want to be being innovative. You should have a certain protocol, certain standard. If you talk about drug delivery, for sure that you can do a lot of creativity there. You can try to think from the consumer pinpoint. In startup, we always use the word, don't fall in love with solution, but understand what's the consumer pain, understand the consumer journey. Yeah, I think from the medical perspective, a lot of things we can do that. If you ask me about how to integrate on or to build this platform, the biggest concern is if you want to play this game into the startup business, your core belief or your core purpose is very important. Because set up one technology platform and you become some. I always say we talk when we have a discussion with all the team. We always thought we are not fly to the moon. If you fly to the moon, you have a path. Where a lot of people did that. You can through NASA check everything, but now you try to fly to Mars. You can be very successful or you die. As simple as that. So a lot of risk taking, a lot of sensing should be taken. When you talk about doctors, I don't think all these medical doctors. Yeah, what I believe is like this. A lot of us, when we decide something, what we call it in one word, kita adalah produk masa lalu kita, how we call it in English.
We are the product of our own past.
Yeah, we are the product of our own past. So maybe they are study hard, difficult to get a doctor. So senior people are a bit tough to manage them. But I believe a lot of young doctors, young generation, they are more open, more easy to bring them into this game. This game is a future game, so you cannot imagine all medical doctors put into this game. You should try to think for the young generation, because maybe when I'm studying, if you have a book, you'll be more clever than other people don't have a book. But now people don't care you have a book or not, as long as you have Google. That make difference. That make difference. That make young generation more sharing each other instead of us in the old mindset. That's my explanation, Pak Richard.
Yes, but so basically, what you are mentioning, like, intuitive is kind of sensing. Yeah, I think like what drive is sometimes our logics, our knowledge, our faith, our past experiences. I think that should be combined together. Yeah, Pak. Yeah, is that right, Pak?
Yes.
Yeah, which means that the quote from the Henry Mintzberg that said that leadership is like swimming. Yeah, you can tell all of the theory, of the breaststroke.
By the way, should I present first or I answer all the questions, Pak Richard?
You can present first if you want, Pak.
Give me the time to present first. Is it okay? So maybe certain question already answered in my deck, so I don't need to answer.
Yes, Pak. Yes, certainly, Pak. You can do that, Pak. Yes.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Let me share my slide first. Yeah, I prepared some short slide. Thank you,
yes, Pak. Yes, Pak. You're welcome, Pak.
Thank you. Yeah, everybody can see the slides, I think. You can see the slide, Pak?
Yes, I can see it clearly, crystal clear.
Okay. Yeah. First, I would like to say thank you once again for the opportunity and the chance. It's an honor for me to have this nice moment in this afternoon to be a part of the Indonesian International Institute for Life Science. I knew this school, I heard the names, but it's like unbelievable for me. Suddenly, I become part of this school. When the first time I visited the school, I met Pak Budi. I said, "Oh, he bring me to do a journey to the I3LS, and we went to the Kalbis too." So I really enjoyed the journey. Yeah, as I said in the earlier, when I got this topic, intuitive leadership, the first thing I think is like, whoa, what is this? How could ITLS give me this topic to present it? It's very interesting. As I said, when we share something, I always say I'm sharing, so we learn each other. I don't say that I know, in this digital space, you can access everything through Google. You can access everything through digital, whatever you want, you study. So I try to use some perspective to give this sharing. First, this is about me. I got this deck, I got this picture. My daughter sent to me. My doctor is a medical doctor. So when he sent to me the picture, your campaign picture, she joked to me. She said, "Are you kidding? You are talking about intuitive leadership." I said, "Yeah." So she laughed at me, and the first question she asked, "What are you doing in that picture?" I said, "I don't know too. How do you get this picture?" I realized. So maybe through Facebook or through maybe there's the power of digital media. So it's a little bit about my journey. Actually, I spent all my life mostly in the pharmaceutical industry. I grew up in the Dexa Medica, in the Dexa group. I spent there around 33 years. I think for the young generation, it's not a good example. I don't know. I started my career since I finished my high school. I graduated from my high school. I went to this company and grew up along the journey in this company. And after that, I take a break at my 45 years old, 7 years ago, I think I take a break. And I try to find my new journey in this life. That's the story I came up. I jumped into the FIFERE a little bit for a while to understand about the design industry. What are they doing when I'm talking about design? Maybe intuitive. I learned a lot in this part of journey, because when you make your journey in the pharma industry, you talk about compliancing, evidence-based, and all that things. And after that, I went to the Triputra Group, one of the Patipi Ramat from Astra. He set up this company. I'm learning something from them. Quite short time too, so I cannot claim as a big journey. Along my retired moment, I take the journey. So finally, I finished. I enjoy my journey at the advisory board. Now I become an advisory board at Halodoc, and I set up my own company, 31, for the medical device business with a friend. We handle GE product. We handle Boston Scientific, more the cardiac disease, ultrasound, and all that thing. So actually, I'm the healthcare guy. People always talk about me. I graduate. I serve pro bono things in the Prasetya Mulia alumni, because I graduated from there. I serve at Ipika School at the board members, and in the pharmaceutical association, especially as in the digital division. That's a bit about me. So I will start to share through this picture. When we see this picture, can we say this is all the leaders or not? The way we see this picture, I believe certain people use the character of that person. Certain people maybe use the influence of that person, like Elon Musk. I was so admired Elon Musk for sure, the way he thinks, the way he make hyperloop, he bring people to moon and back, audible, he space back. If you talk about Trump, some people like, some people may be neutral. You talk about Pak Jokowi, every people have their own understanding, their own perspective when we talk about this is the leader. You can see Ibu Tresia there. You can see a lot of young people downstairs in Europe, a lot of young under 30 people leaders. If you search in the Google, you can find top 30 young leaders in the world. You can see a lot of people with that background. And of the right-hand side, right-hand side, you can see a lot of young generation. There's all the senior person there. We can see they are a leader too, because they are scientists. They contribute a lot. Albert Einstein for the president. And the top is the top 20 or 30 richest guys in this world. I believe some people think that I want to become a Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. That's all the perspective when we are talking about the leaders. So if you ask me the definition of leaders, I believe everybody have their own understanding, their own definition. And I believe it's not about wrong and right, but it's about from which angle you try to see that perspective. Yeah. So why we are talking about this topic is very interesting, as by Richard mentioned. When we did a business or we're doing business, even Richard mentioned, business is about people. You control people. How you run the business, how you develop something, you control the people. So business is about people and people. So when you talk about the people, you cannot deny that you interact with them, you try to talk with them, you try to understand the profile of each person because each person quite unique. We are very unique, everybody with all the past pathway, the way we grow, culture difference, the way we understand something, what kind of book, what kind of everything is totally impact who you are. You cannot say easily that I'm just as I am for sure, but you should interact in this culture. That's why a lot of definition has mentioned about the leader. Sometimes some people said it's about command. Some people said it's about power. If you're a leader, you have a power to control everything. Some people said it's about guidance. Leaders is about guiding. It's about organize something. It's about take charge for some things. Some people said leaders like the structure wise, a person who inspires. A lot of definition. It's not about wrong and right because every definition has its own journey. If you are in the academic, you can understand which theory, who is the founder of this theory, and how you go through that statement. That's about the leader. For me, I always learn something. I always say to myself and to my people when I grew up in the company, leader is not about job title. Leader is not about structure. When director, you are director, you are CEO, you are manager, you are lecturer, whatever your position, you are not as a leader automatically. That's a job structure, what I believe. Leader is about how your people, your team, really accept you as their leader. They are the one who said you are their leader. It's a recognition from bottom line. It's a recognition from other peoples. It's not because of the job structure. I could say that my director is my director, but he doesn't automatically become my leaders because sometimes in a company, in the organization, a lot of they have the position in the one structure, but we can find a lot of informal leaders. Yeah, they don't have the position, but people hearing what he say or what she said, and he or she can make a big influence to other instead of the guys in the position. That's what I believe about the leader. So that's one statement say, when you talk about leadership, you try to understand about leader, you should learn to how to lead yourself first. That's a tough one. How after you can lead yourself, then you can inspire others to become a better person or become a leader. The challenge is, I love this mindset, yeah, especially when you are talking about intuitive leadership, as Pak Richard mentioned about. What I love from this approach from the Carol S. Dweck, is a professor of psychology in Stanford. He said, we have two kind of mindset. One people with a growth mindset, one people with a fixed mindset. I have 4 kids in my family. I should say one of them could be a little bit fixed mindset. I have a lot of friends like fixed mindset. Fixed mindset always talking about, yeah, you know, could be, I use my words here. I am a scientist. I am not a salesman. So don't expect me to talk a lot with other people. I love to work in a lab. I love to experiment something instead of to communicate, of to talk with other people. That's a fixed mindset, you know. You try to block yourself and say, I'm different. I don't want to be part of you. Yeah. I have one friend's doctor cannot use computer, even open Microsoft Office. The word he always said is that he is a top doctor. Most of you know. He said, I'm a doctor. I am not a computer guy. So don't ask me to learn about computer. There's a fixed mindset. The most important one we learn from this slide, I believe in this environment, in this digital space, in the 21st century, we should go through a lot of growth mindset because change where a dynamic environment happen. Yeah, you can't learn anything. You cannot say if you are a scientist, I don't want to learn about, like say, financial things. How could, if you are a scientist, you only make a product and your product was so powerful, but nobody want to buy it, or the economic of scale cannot adopt to buy that product. And what for? You can create something out of the box, but at the end, affordable. If you talk about the medicine, if you talk about all this science thing, I'm in the pharma business. I love my one of my scientists. I can say is a Dr. Raymond. He PhD in the biomolecular science, but he learned MBA. So when he talks something, I love so much because he can combine marketing, he can combine business. Let's talk about the growth mindset. So I believe in I3LS, a lot of students should be, a lot of us should be in a growth mindset. We should learn from other people. We should never give up. That's why what I believe when you mention about intuitive leadership, you are talking about an area actually. You should open your mindset first. Like Alvin Toffler is in his old book 1970, he put one statement: the illiterate of the 21st century will not those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Especially for the age like me, to unlearn, say, I don't know about social media will be very tough. I don't know about all this technology thing is very tough. Because if you don't unlearn, you cannot relearn. Yeah, that's the philosophy that Alvin Toffler mentioned to us in his book. He already predict, he used his intuition to see in the third wave. When he mentioned about third wave information digital space, that's 1980, 1970 something. So he has that intuitive, he try to predict the future through his concept. So like the first question Pak Richard asked me, Pak, what do you think about leadership? Difficult for me to answer that. That's why. If I talk with the academic people, a lot of them use different perspectives, different theory. This is all the theory in the leaderships. Yeah, I try to take from this one journal. This in 18 something, when people about thought leadership, it's like a very great man, and you cannot touch that man. He's very like inspiring. It's really like out of the states. Like, oh, I'm amazed with him. Yeah, like he was born to lead. He was born to become a leader, something like that. Yeah, that's long time ago. The theory people believe that. That's why a lot of people say leaders should be born, cannot be learned. Yeah, a lot of people use that statement because they believe on the great man theory. After that, move around into the trait theory. People try to look about the behavior. The trait theory talk about abundance, produce, ambition. After that, move into the behavior. Leaders have different kind of style, and you try to understand. Or some leader with choleric, some leader with pragmatic things. A lot of movement happen about this theory. And after that, people say, oh, no. You cannot talk about leadership. You should understand your team. That's situational leadership. Sometimes when you should drive, sometimes you lead, sometimes you really give them direction, we just say anything, sometimes you delegate. So you should understand about the competency, the maturity, the leaders, the capability of your team. That's situational leadership. After that, contingency theories. At this moment, COVID-19, a lot of people say it's a contingency theories. You don't have a lot of options. You should decide. Very effective. You don't need to be empathy sometimes. You should use your power to decide something. Transactional relationship is about take and give, leader and follower. That's a gap. Transformational leadership more could be a lot of, when you mention intuitive, should be on this part because they are envisioning, they are see the future to bring the future into now to deliver a better performance in the future. So that's why I say the beauty of knowledge. When you said something, it's not about wrong and right. It really depends on which professor you follow, which school you study. It's not, and we learn each other to understand each other. A lot of theory could be after this. John Maxwell used this word, like when I say a leader is one who knows the ways, goes the ways, and shows the ways. Oh, if you see this explanation, it will be very tough to be a leader. You should know everything. You should show the way. How could I? Even sometimes I don't know, and I should show the way. That's what John Maxwell mentioned about leaders. Why he mentioned about that? They have his reason. I agree. The leader should down to earth. Now, I use this slide try to explain. This is the environment now for all the students, guys in here in this class, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people think we only live in a COVID-19 situation. No, it's not about COVID-19. Don't forget about Industry 4.0 in the digital space. Don't forget about machine learning, artificial intelligence. Don't forget about the generation gap in one organization when you are working now. They have 5 generations in the same room could be. That's all the thing now we are facing in this leadership situation. That's why one would talk about this is a VUCA time, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. They have their own reason. Even Harvard Business Review talk about tuna, not only volatile, showing turbulent after COVID-19. Nobody can predict. So Industry 4.0, same thing. You can see, swap the guys who use the first word Industry 4.0. He said Industry 4.0 is talking about people, empowering them, talking about technology, people for people. He mentioned it's about people again. That's why I believe when you said about leadership, you're talking about people. This is all the challenge in the 21st century. Now, all of you, when you graduate, when you're in your marketplace, you are a leader. You play an important role. Leadership now changed. Leadership is the person who drive into the new business model. Because the change was so quick. After COVID-19, the new normal is totally different. You mentioned about Halodoc. Halodoc come up as like a try to disrupt, to simplify the access to the healthcare. We have a lot of people in rural area can access the specialized doctor because very difficult to access a specialized doctor. A lot of project we did because we have the same purpose to simplify healthcare. I will not go to this. So when we are talking about intuitive leadership, like I said before, I am trying to think what is like a transformational leadership. Is just my sixth sense? How could is my sixth sense was wrong? Simon Wright is a very inspirational person. He's very good motivator, good coach. He said, intuitive leaders are powerfully aware that they are only a part of the whole. As a people who feel and sense things deeply, they know how to support and encourage members to their team by creating trust, connection, generating savior energetic environment that bring out the innovative best in everyone. When you look into this statement, when I look into this statement, I try to think it's not easy to become intuitive leadership. First, you should spend more time to your people to understand them. You must give space to your people. Give space to them to become innovate, to create something. You should encourage them. It's not an easy thing for sure to do. That's Simon Wright mentioned. So I try to find actually what does it mean intuitive? Using or based on what one feels to true even without conscious reasoning, instinctive. Oxford, I take Oxford. A lot of you can see. It's about feeling. Yeah, I use my feeling. So what is intuitive? Intuitive is a part of conscious mind, spontaneous. That's your intuitive, your intuition. Intuitive decision identically fast, immediate, and direct. I try to compile from several journals, several books that I read. Intuitive action based on experience, I answered before, based on knowledge inside you. If you have a lot of knowledge, you read a lot of books, you take a fast decision, maybe you can more easily predict in the your decision instead of you don't have anything. Intuitive decision making based on insufficient information. That's tough, especially all of you mostly is a scientist. When you're a scientist, difficult to say, you can, like one friend talked to me, but this is a Chinese medicine, is it work or not for COVID-19? I said, a lot of people eat, they said it work, but some of them said not good if you have a cardiac disease. So, because my question, I need a clinical trial journal to read to understand. Without that, I cannot give any opinion, you know. And this guy asked me, can I buy it? What to eat? Now, I should take an intuitive decision making or not. I should say, from the theory of probability, 10 people eat, egg works. So you are maybe 80% chance you can take it. That's the way I answer it. I cannot like give very confident to get the decision. I should say, now, why intuitive leadership, intuitive decision very relevant at this situation? Because at this moment, after new normal, COVID-19, no one really can predict the future well. Vaccine, even we don't know yet when will be launched. No one. Not to choose between alternatives, but both you should take decisions, short-term and long-term. A lot of organizations try to think, If you ask me, after this COVID-19, will I happy back to the office again, work at the office? Maybe no. I hate macet. Especially when I3LS invite me to Pulau Gadung. For sure, I will say, domo arigato, Pak. Macet, Pak Richard. Maybe I prefer next time. I don't like to go there. I say I BSD. Maybe I say, can we do it through Zoom, through digital? Will be totally different. Totally different. I really don't know what will impact. So a lot of things can be changed. That's why a lot of decisions should be taken now with your own calculation, your intuition. But when we talk about every word in the leadership, you cannot run away with word of strategic, because whatever you take if you are a leader, it's about strategic, it's about decision. It's not abal-abal, what you call it. It's like asal ngomong. You cannot say it. If you're a leader, you said something, people will follow. So strategic leadership talking about what? Strategic leadership clear, talking about consist in the ability to cope with situation. In this word is talk about that are difficult to predict and to deal with important change in the environment. It works with this current situation actually. Yeah. So from the perspective of strategic leadership, I try to find one journal and try to compile it. And the intuitive things that we as a leader to take, what should we do? First, the characteristic that we should have as a leader, we should ability to anticipate, willingness to take on challenge, ability to interpret, ability to make decisions, ability to find common area of cooperation, and ability to learn. All these characteristics needed from the journal said if you want to become intuitive leadership. But the problem, what of competency that you should build? It's not easy. I don't know, when I3LS bring this word, all of you should become intuitive leadership. I believe you will learn another things about what kind of competency, how you make a quick calculation on the risk, how you use your SWOT analysis to decide something. That's all the competency. If you will rational model still work at this moment when you decide something, or you said no, I will not use rational model anymore. It's not about wrong and right. But again, that's all the challenge. So this Ray D. Katie Hoth say, he's a One Love Foundation, quite big foundation in the US. He said, your intuition arises as the feeling within your body that only you experience. Because the feeling is so personal, no one else can wave in to tell you are not in touch with your gut instinct or not. You alone have to make the call. Because of this, trusting your intuition is the ultimate act of trusting yourself. I tried to read this statement several times. He put on his website, even this word, I only take from this website. Are we agree or not? Are we agree or not if we use this statement? If you ask me, for me, it's very difficult. When you talk about sixth sense, intuition thing, I should say, I'm not totally agree with this statement. For sure, we should have a confidence in ourselves. Why I'm not totally agree? I love this Albert Einstein word, he said. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Very interesting. When I look into it, when the first time he talked about all these things, he tried to recall us, remember how you get this gift. Intuition is not only about talking about yourself. There's something more powerful to give you this gift. That's why when the first time Pak Richard asked me, I mentioned a little bit about faith. Yep. That's what I believe. That's why when I talk, when you told me about, are we agree on it? We can decide everything to ourselves. I'm not totally agree. That's my personal. Anybody can have different opinion. Why? Because that's one of the things that book spirituality say. Today leader must see themselves as a creator on the values, mission, and spiritual dimension of an organization distinct. I don't know, most of you are scientists. A lot of scientists don't believe in God, so very difficult to talk about scientists because you ask about proof. Yeah, that's why I bring Albert Einstein's statement. I believe RT3LS will be more easy to manage instead of a lot of science. That's why not easy when you talk about intuitive leadership. For me, simple. When you to become a leader, you should take an intuitive decision. You should spend time to do discernment. You cannot directly rely on yourself. That's what I believe. You should talk to your God, whatever your religion. Understand, is it the right decision? You should pray for the decision. You should really go to depth before you take decision. Because a lot of decision could be wrong if you only use your instinct. I think that's all, Pak Richard, my opening there. That's why I back again. If you action inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. That's John Quincy Adams said. So you can validate through this. I think that's all my opening presentation, Pak Richard. I hope it helped. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Erwin. Yeah, for the presentation that is really eye-opening. That eventually let every one of us that is present or the seminar know about this leadership. And apparently, Pak, for the current condition, we are more focusing from all different type of the leadership. We tends to lean more towards the transformational, Pak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct, Pak?
Yeah. Yes. Because it's totally transformational leadership. Talking about you cannot really predict the future.
Yes.
Kind of leadership.
Yes, and also, Pak, I am very interested in this, Pak, because the word intuitive, sometimes instinct, Pak. Yes. Instinct is something like it is very difficult to measure, Pak. Yeah. Difficult to measure by science. Yeah, and then also like so in order for us to be more accurate in that, we need to use something that are beyond human ability, Pak. Yeah. This is what I can capture from what your lecture is about, Pak. Yeah. Is that correct, Pak?
Yes.
Yes, Pak. And let's say like this, Pak. Yeah. Let's say we want to pass down the leadership, Pak, to person with different values than us, Pak. Is it possible, Pak? Yeah, this is, I mean, like when I see a presentation, okay, when we, let's say in organization, sometimes, yeah.
When you're talking about organization, always we should understand one strong organization, they have their own culture, they have their own value system. All of us came from the different background. When we join into the organization, if the organization have their belief system, their culture, we should follow. If we not match the values, we should leave the company for sure.
Yes.
If the organization don't have a strong values or strong culture, that's leaders' culture will impact. So back to your question, if I have a different values, yeah, values. When different values, is very broad spectrum. We talk about the values. Yeah, will be more. I should say, will be more difficult. Will be more difficult. Let's say I give you one example like this.
Yeah.
Okay, when you try to do a sum formulation, yeah, when you need a thing to stabilize, yeah, what you write down and what you put in could be a little bit different in terms of weight or whatever, and you try to use the best one to prove it. So that's why in BPOM or Indonesian FDA, they find a lot of problem. The product with the dossier not really equal, the component, everything.
Yeah.
Some people, some scientists thinks that ethic. If me, that's not ethic. Yeah. If they're different values, I think you should bring them into the same values first. If not, will be difficult. One say cheating is a common thing. The other people say, no, you cannot lie. You cannot cheat. And we will fight each other. That's my question, Richard.
Right, Pak. I mean, like, if you are asking me, Pak, yeah.
A lot of question in the board. How should I answer this?
Yeah, we will come back to that later, Pak.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back, Pak. Yeah.
Come back when the time need
Yes, I mean like I will, yeah, because I will
Okay.
arrange the timing part, because I feel like I need to go through this intuitive leadership part.
Thank
And
you,
then
thank you.
also, yes, this intuitive, I remember one of your slide, I cannot remember the name part. Yeah, because this instinctive is sometimes cannot be taught, yeah, Pak, yeah? Is that correct, Pak?
Cannot be bought.
Cannot be taught. You
Yes.
cannot teach.
Yes.
So it must come from oneself, Pak. Is that correct, Pak?
Yes. You can explain, but you cannot be, like I said.
Yeah.
All the background. I give you an example. Like I give you an example. In this COVID-19 situation, a lot of people work from home. Yeah.
Yes.
Some of us really enjoy because we have when you decision to decide work from home, close the office for the safety of the employee. Hooray!
Yeah.
That's intuitive decision. I can take very quick, and I think that's the right decision. But if I'm the person came from the poor background, I will not as easy to take the decision. So I will think, hey, should we really close the office? Are you sure? Because of the safety? How about our employee? They don't have an internet. How about our employee? The house was so small. If you never come from that experience, the way you take decision will be different. If the person came from that experience.
Yes.
So that our background, our pathway will make us a totally different.
Yes.
It's not easy. That's why what I believe you should combine all that thing. You cannot say.
Yes.
That's why experience, knowledge, all that thing will really be part of this decision journey.
Yes, Pak. When you're talking about that, but I am also reflecting on not only from the work from office or from home, yeah, Pak, how different countries manage COVID-19 differently, Pak. For example, Pak, when we see New Zealand, wow, look, yeah, within several weeks they can clear out all of the New Zealand. But then we look at Indonesia, why they are keep the number of the positive people are keep rising. Then they are questioning the leadership of the government. So I mean, like, we know the government, tries their best to meet all needs, but what I can see from my judgment, you cannot compare New Zealand and Indonesia's leadership for the government to control COVID-19, because there are too many dimensions to measure. So in conclusion, I think like measuring leadership sometimes is very tricky also, because sometimes leadership can be easy in one way. Let's say in New Zealand, they are much smaller. In Singapore, it's much smaller. It's easier. And then they compare with Indonesia, who is like 250 million. So of course, we need this leadership capability need to be more complex, and then we also need to see the dynamics also.
Yes, I fully agree with you. When you are in a certain position, when you want to take one tough decision, I should say, a lot of dimension came up, and I said it's not about wrong and right. It's it's about your belief system. When we are talk about COVID-19, we talk about a lot of factor: economic factor, maturity of the employee, maturity of the people in the country, level of education.
Yes.
Healthy issue, a lot too difficult to judge. The culture in like in US, you can see what makes US so lousy. There's a lot of people think Western smarter than us.
Yes.
But, because maybe they are too smart, they ignore the worry. Too many dimensions, as you mentioned. I totally agree with you. Even not only for the government. If you become a CEO, will be tough decision too.
Yes.
When you close down certain business, you should lay off an employee. When you should lay off an employee, you talk about your morals. In this situation, when you should cut certain hundred or how many hundred people, I make one tough decision with my friends to lay down 500 employees. It's not an easy decision. I should spend 1 week to decide that, to use a different angle, different factors because the economic was so bad. All the situation, yeah, you will one day all of you will be facing. Maybe some of you already face that situation.
Ah, yes, Paya. So, I mean, like this different condition, of course, we need a different type of leadership, yeah, Paya. And we can see like all around the world, some, even with simple instruction, like a management, then the whole country can march, and they are cooperatively doing to end the COVID outbreak. While the other countries, they fight with each other, and then they have a debate everywhere, and etc. So I mean, like, if let's say if we are being faced with this tough situation like the US, how do you think the most correct intuitive leadership, Pak, this is maybe, I know, but this is very difficult question, since this is the class, but maybe from your experience managing Halodoc, which I know is very big, and you are controlling medical doctor, but what is your best bet, for this intuitive leadership? Yeah, I know it's, sorry, it's difficult, but I think I am very intrigued with this,
No, I try to think if I can answer, maybe I should be a candidate to compare with Biden. But the candidate, that's why.
But you may be as competent as Biden, who knows,
Yeah, as you said, I don't think I have a right answer, frankly speaking, because I don't understand about the political things there. I don't understand about the culture of each territory. Because when you're talking about the country, you're talking about a lot of different states, different law, different regulation. It's not as easy as I really cannot answer that. Even you ask me if I become a Jokowi, I don't know how should I answer that. Yeah, maybe as Indonesia, tough for me to answer that. If you're asking me about Halodoc, maybe more easier. Even I am only at advisory board there. I'm not run the whole company. Jonathan, as a founder, run the company. He's still young. Yeah, and the first thing maybe whatever your position, wherever you are, when you are become a leader, you should don't use you should be natural when you're judging something. That's the first parameter. So don't have a negative perception. So like you should come like a piece of white paper. If no, a lot of constraint to become disruptive, to use your intuition. Sometimes you cannot. You should be natural as you can first. If not, you will force into certain pendulum to decide something, and that's not good, I think. Yeah. Like you mentioned, when, like I said, when we are in the startup and in Halodoc, when we said we try to simplify the healthcare. We do a lot of mistakes, frankly speaking. We iterate, we learn from the mistakes. We should be neutralized. And the first services that we develop is not about contact doctor. We develop the medicine delivery, so you can order the medicine at home, and we embark a lot of apothec in the platform. And after that, the apothec we work with Gojek. Gojek, we send the medicine to your home. But that's the business model. Good, people happy, people enjoy, but not sustain. Why? People buy Antangin, buy Bodre, toothpaste and order, and we should deliver. On cost, kirim delivery cost higher than the medicine.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
So that's good. You do something good, but not sizable for the business. And we try to change. When we change into the okay, embarking the doctor and try to use doctor to contact, a different thing came up. The regulation, the psychology things, so multi-dimension. That's why you always, you should build your agility. You should be very persistent if you want to become an entrepreneur, especially you try to build a business in the digital space. Yeah, that's my answer.
So what I can see here is, one of the good quality intuitive leader is the ability for the leader to see things in different angles, yeah, Pak. Yeah. So then, and then from the analysis, from the faith, from the knowledge, yeah, and then from the guts, like one of the slide that you talk about. From all of this, then they process and then they create the decision, Pak.
Yeah.
Is that right, Pak?
Yeah. You're right.
Yes, Pak. And then, Pak, I also see, maybe this is my last question, but I also see you have proposed many leadership models, Pak. Is that
Mhm.
right, Pak? I think like the transformational, the I think is from
I
what
don't
I like.
I don't think I am proposed. I just show I'm just here that the leadership they have a lot of leadership theory. That's why when we are talking about leadership, it depends on which theory you use. It's not about wrong and right.
Okay.
Some people said people said leadership is like I said leadership is about influence. Actually, I use the behavior and trait leadership theory. Yeah, you can see.
Yes, yes, yes.
It really
This is
depends on
the part.
if I said leaders is about somebody you should respect. Even the boss say wrong, don't argue with the boss. The boss is always right. He never be wrong.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
The
yes.
docent, the professor is always right. Yeah. I'm joking sometimes when I study with my friend. When I challenge the professor a lot, and some of friends text me, Erwin, remember rule number one: the professor always right, and if the professor wrong, you are wrong too. I said, how could I don't agree with his opinion, but that's the rule. Now, if people think that the role and people use the great man theory, if you're a leader, you're never wrong.
Ah,
It really depends. That's why when you hear something, you understand something, especially when we are in the science, in the management. It really depends which book you are read. It doesn't mean wrong and right. Try to
I
and we
see.
can learn each other. Only that from that point of view. Actually, I try to bring in.
I see, Pak. So that means that it depends on the value also, the value about the leadership itself. Whether yeah, sometimes great men can be more suitable, Pak, in some condition, Pak. Or maybe like trait theories are more suitable in other condition.
Yes,
Is what I
could
can think
be.
of.
It
Yeah.
depends on the culture too. It depends on the culture. Let's say like if you are Chinese culture and you are Western culture, will be totally different.
Yes,
You
yes,
cannot
yes.
imagine Chinese culture call your mom and dad with the name. You be will be very people say unpolite. How
Yeah,
could?
very impolite. Yes,
In
yes,
very
yes.
very impolite, and you can. But in West it's common. Even when my son went to US and Australia, very tough for him to call the professor the name. He said, I cannot call the professor name. How good? Like call my friend. But the professor insists call the names. You can very difficult. He calls sir, nobody will answer. Yeah, that's a
Yes,
culture,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
The way we see something could be totally different, and the perspective, the theory that we use, especially when you lead
Yes.
people, you talk about people. People consist of the culture, consist of the background. So as I said, the leadership style when you use in Indonesia, what could be not really work in the other country. It
Yes,
depends on the
yes, yes.
culture, depend on the society and everything.
Yes, which means that I would say, it is important for us, yeah, to at least learn about this different leadership model. At least we are aware, yeah, Pak, yeah. That's why I think like this is very important to be incorporated in the like management, so that people are aware, Pak, in a human resource management, Pak. At least
Certainly.
they are aware. Yeah, even Pak, I have not told you about my background, Pak. I am actually a pure scientist also, Pak. I am
Okay.
biomedicine, Pak. So when I look at this, oh, okay, I just knew about this. I have no idea about all of this at all because I only am familiar with some of these leadership models. But when I look through this, and then when you talk about the intuitive leadership, now my eyes opens up even more. Then I learned how to deal with different people, which I think learning about the human resource management and leadership is important, Pak. Now I see why, Pak. And
Thank you.
yes, but you look at the participant, Pak. The participant are just as curious, Pak, and you see they are like 13 questions. So let us start, yeah, Pak, yeah. Discussing about the question for the participant, Pak, because
Yes.
some of them are good, yeah. For example, Pak, the question from Yash Rama Saputra: What is one of the most what is the toughest intuitive decision that you have ever made in your career, and how to overcome that decision?
Tough, tough. Yeah,
Yes.
you said tough. Yeah. I should say a lot there. Maybe I can share one thing that I face.
Yes, Pak.
When I tried to fire one senior manager, because I believe when he works in the company, he tried to build a strong leadership, not engaged to the company, but engaged to himself.
Yeah.
So he tried to play a political game in the company.
Oh.
So if I leave, all my people will leave the company. Then he used his power. I cannot press him as a leader. And I take my decision. I want to talk with him. I use my intuition. When I come to him, I said I will fire him. He will leave the company, and I should prepare all the employee in the company leave. That's I think several days and came up in the situation. I call him and we meet in one restaurant and I talk to him. I talk to him about what I'm thinking about him. And I prepared that he will say to me, okay, Pa, so what do you want? Because the guys were so tough. Normally he will say, but you know, when the discussion come and I already prepared the scenario, he used one word. Yeah, I should say sorry, Pa. I don't really have that intention. You know, like what? All the scenario will totally change. I already prepared the worst scenario in my pocket. I already give him a letter that he should sign and ask him to leave the company. And the letter I already carry. HR people already know. A lot of directors already know. And suddenly this guy said, I admit that's my mistake. Give me a second chance to prove it, to correct it. Yeah, I should say at that time, tough for me, because I should say in the board level, everybody already know I will fire him. So now in the final decision, this guy say, I'm sorry, give me a second chance. Nah, that's my first. I cannot say let me back again. I talk to the board and come back to you. I think that's not proper because I'm one of the board member.
Yeah.
So that's a tough situation I'm facing. What I did, as simple as that, I show him this is the letter. I said, you know, when I meet you, I already make the letter. The company already make the letter. I opened the letter. I said, you just sign it and ask you to leave. I really don't expect you say sorry to me. And I really don't know now how should I manage the situation. That's my style. So he was like so shocked too. Huh? The company want to fire me? I said, yes, this is the letter. It's just a matter I push you to sign it or I bring it back this letter. That's the decision only in this restaurant, I said. At this moment, I really don't know how should I take. You can see I do my intuition. So once again, at that restaurant, we order food, we eat. I use my intuition again. I said, from his eye contact, from my experience, from the way he explained to me something, I think I should give him a second chance. So I said to him, okay, I take back this letter, I give you a second chance. I don't know that's right or wrong when we're speaking at that time. So I should back again, fight to the management, said that I give him a second chance because all the board already know I should fire him. Yeah, that's one of the tired situation. Yeah, but I'm so thankful at that time I make a right decision. Yeah, people can change. You should give a people a second chance. That's what I believe.
Yes, Pak.
Yeah.
And I also believe he also used his intuitive also, Pak. Good, Pak. Then he suddenly changed his mind. That means he used his intuitive and something is involving him also, Pak.
But the most important thing at that time when we're speaking, both of us close the discussion. We pray together. I said because the situation was totally different situation. I invite you. I want to fire you, and suddenly the ball changed, and you are still be part of the management. I really don't know it's a good decision or not. So I tried to bring another perspective, both of us like hand in hand to understand the situation. That's my answer.
Yes. I think we also sometimes, need to have the condition where we are in conflict and how to resolve the conflict through leadership also.
Yes.
And then this is also another very good question, Pak. How are we going to change, to educate an introvert person to be a good leader, Pak? This one by Ceria Boru Ketaran, Pak.
Yeah. I don't think leadership is really related with the introvert or extrovert. Even you are introvert, you can become you are still a leader. Yeah, it's really introvert. If you look at me, people always think I'm an extrovert. Actually, I'm an introvert person. If you ask me to the party, you ask me to the mall, I love to stay at home alone at my room, enjoy my Netflix or enjoy my reading instead of I went to the mall with crowded people. I'm an introvert person, but I learned to be extrovert. It really depends. But that's why in the leadership theory about leadership, you have your mirroring sometimes, you are not represent the way you are, but you understand you are introvert person. Introvert person is simple. It's very difficult to decide some decision when a lot of people. It's very difficult to talk in the big situation, a big audience. I think we can learn that. So even you are introvert, you can be always a lot of introvert be a leader. I'm one example. I'm an introvert person. I should say I grow my career. My background is accountant. I want to be a doctor. I cannot be a doctor at the time. My background is an accountant, and after that auditor. Can you say accountant and auditor? And I move into the marketing. I want to learn that. That's the journey I learned. So not related. No need to worry. Just learn about that. Yeah.
Yes, Pak. I also, Pak, want to share also similar here, Pak. I am introvert also. Yeah, but I only learn, this explosive as extrovertness lately, Pak. So I personally believe, Pak, based on intuitive, I think we can change, Pak, based on the condition and situation, Pak.
Certainly, you should. The most important thing in the leadership, people said, what's the role of the leadership? I always say there are 4 roles if you are a leader. Number 1 is a path finding. Path finding is like, if you're a leader, you should bring the vision where we want to go. That's number 1. Yeah. If you don't have that vision, people will not follow you. Yeah. That's make you different from other. You have that vision. That's I always say path finding. That's my first question. The second, I always say, as a leader, you should align your people. Align your people, what does it mean? You should understand your team's strength and weakness. That's we can learn. Like if you're in the family, you should understand if you have several siblings, more easy to learn. Oh, he's strong in the area. Is he weak in this area? Now, try to understand that, try to synergize that with one exercise, if you're in a family like me, I have 4 kids. I know which one I should give this mandate, which one I should give this mandate. I try to understand their behavior. Yeah, that's the second thing, alignment. The third is empowerment. After you align, you understand your people, you can empower them with different authority, different role, and different things. That's empowerment come. And the last, always as a leader, walk the talk. You should become a role model. You not only talk. That's 4 role only. So it's not about introvert, extrovert. Only.
And also, Pak, I think what you said also answered the next question, how do you deal leaders who are not able to lead, Pak? I think it's kind of relevant to what you said just now, Pak. Isn't it, Pak? Like empowerment, know how to delegate, and then how to connect people, Pak.
Yeah, sometimes I should say that's life. Sometimes you meet you meet a lot of boss and a lot of leader that you feel that they're not really a good leader in front of our eyes, for sure. For sure, yeah. But from my experience, maybe I should give one lesson learned life from my journey of life. Yeah. Sometimes you should have a chance to work with a tough people. You should have a chance to work with a person that you don't like.
Yes.
Why? You will learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
You will learn how to
I'm so
manage
agree
your
with
emotion. You will learn how to respect and obey in the way that you not really like the way he talk. And after for a while, it will give you a lot of insight and will bring you to become a better leader in the future if you learn that.
I
If your
see.
energy when you face that situation negative, you will not learn something. Everything happened for a reason in this life. That's what I believe. So if you face tough situation, you meet a leader that you don't like. Yeah, that's a reason for you to learn, a reason for you
Yes.
to understand. That's my no. Don't try to deal with them, but try to understand them and try to learn something from from them. Trust me, you will
Yes.
enjoy. In my life, I met a lot of leaders like this. Even sometimes I pray to God. I said, God, why you give me this kind of leader? I really fed up with him. Every time I go to the office, even I look his face, I don't like. But I'm not the boss. I cannot change his face. But that energy was negative. I don't like anything. But after that, I try to understand everything happened for a reason. He
Yeah.
can become like now because of his past background could be. So when we talk a lot, we understand a lot. I give you one experience. When I talk about a lot of about a one family about family, so I have one experience. One of my senior manager tendered a resignation letter because he don't like that I talk about family life. I don't understand. I said, what's wrong? So after that, he say, you never understand my feeling when you talk about family life. My mom and dad divorced when I'm young. I'm only the person in the family. I'm one daughter only, but ladies, yeah, lady. Even I try to arrange my mom and dad to have a family picture. I cannot have it. Painful for me. You can imagine when he talk about that, I feel so sorry. And since that time, I be more empathic to him, to her, and try to understand, understand, and try to open her mind, healing her pain. Now, that's the reason. Before I cannot accept why you complain to me, you want to resign at top family. That's one example. I hope it answers.
Yes, that is also the example that you spoke earlier. To align, yeah, Pak, to align and empower, Pak. That is the example that you are just mentioned already, Pak.
Yes.
Ah, yes, Pak. And then this is also another interesting question from Norman. What is the impact if a leader cannot control action because of intuitive thinking? Sometimes, from the intuitive thinking, yeah, he will decide an action, but he cannot control it. What is the impact, Pak?
Chaos. How could you as a leader? You cannot. The leader is not only about the making decision. People always say idea is cheap, something like that. Decision is easy to
Yes,
take.
Pak.
Decision is easy to take, but to make that thing happen is a tough one. So you cannot say that you make one decision, you don't have a control system. Will be lousy and chaotic. Should be very careful. Even when you do, especially when you make a tough and quick decision, you should ensure that you have a control tools. Yeah? If no, you cannot measure that you are doing right or wrong. And especially in the very dynamic environment, sometimes you should really control it well and quick and decide to change it quickly too. That's in the
Yes.
startup business. In the startup business, you learn about that. Iteration is the key. Change quickly, understand consumer journey is wrong, change directly. But you should have a control tool.
Very dynamic, yeah, Pak. Yeah,
Yes.
especially nowadays, it is not like conventional business. People are going digital and etc. We have a lot of competitors. Younger generation have very dynamic minds. I think we need to adapt. I think this intuitive thinking is also come into a very important play also in all of us. So I think this is one of the very important aspect to learn about, Pak.
I give you one example when in Halodoc. When we build this Halodoc platform, we never think COVID-19 will become. We never think about it. After that, when we know COVID-19 came, we use our intuitive thinking directly. We discuss easily. The decision is, should we jump into this business? Should we arrange people can do drive-through for antibody, antigen swab test? We are the first company to do drive-through tests across the country because we know that's happened in Korea. We try to learn that. But you know, when you think about that, you should have a control system. And we think, normally we develop one app, we need 2 weeks to change one app. We suddenly put chatbot, we put everything. We said, cannot 2 weeks. COVID is already happened, you cannot wait 2 weeks.
Yes.
And finally, we make it happen 2 days.
Oh.
That's why you say a control system, purpose is a central. It's not easy. When you get that purpose, like now, same thing. Vaccination will come. Will Halodoc put into that game or not? Because when you talk about the vaccination, you talk about the tracking system.
Yep.
Because vaccination is not about one shot. Could be 2 shots, but 3
Yes,
shots.
could be several shots. Yes.
Could be at this moment we know the phase, trial phase only. What people speed up. Maybe you should control after post surveillance everything. You need a track system. We have that capability. We never think about that. Now we are in the discussion to do this intuitive decision making again. We should really jump in or not? If we should jump in, what kind of resource? What the risk? What the implication? That's one example.
And especially, you know, like sometimes to deliver effectively, yeah, one of the most important part, for example, to prevent the spread, we need to know the location of people. That's why a lot of people use a tracking system. From the tracking system also, we know, you know, who this person is in contact with. Maybe you just set out like a reminder, yeah, Pak, yeah. So, okay, this is the time you need to come back and get your result. This is time for you to get a vaccination. This is the place you should not go, or you should go because it's a red zone and etc.
But you know, in culture again, yeah, it really depends people care or not.
Yes. If you are throwing too much information, usually Indonesia do not like to read too much stuff. But this is what I understand. But
I don't care that. That's the money that I should go. What sort of? I'm kidding. Okay.
And then this is also another interesting part. What is the most unique thing about leadership in a science-driven company as opposed to the leadership in other industries, Pak?
What is the unique things
about the leadership in the science-driven company? Like Halodoc, I think it's like a medical, like it's a science-driven, Pak, compared to like
I should say like
others
this.
like
when we are talking of science, is very broad. Yeah. Let's say when you talk about you are in the R&D department, yeah. R&D department should be more creative, yeah. More on based on the learning by doing with all the fact situation, yeah. So if you are a leader in that department, you should really empower people to be innovative, to give their best thinking. That's intuitive leadership could be really works and do it. But let's say if you are in the quality assurance team, yeah, I don't think you should really can use your intuitive thinking. Maybe you should use a very rational thinking. Yeah?
Yes, it's a protocol based, but for quality assurance.
Protocol based. You cannot allow people ABC. So it really depends on what role, which division. Once again, don't use one theory or one perspective. Yeah, leadership is like I on my first slide I share a lot too many. Yeah, just go through. When you have time, you read that all in after decision. You know all the insight, or you can be a transactional, you can be transformational, you can be whatever. You know all the theory now. You can Google it and you can find that. Use different angle, but the most important, always remember. Leaders talk about people, understand people, who they are, what's the role. If they have a clear role, it's very important. If you are leadership, what's the role of their people? What kind of responsibility that you expect from them? Because responsibility related with the authority that you give him or her to decide. You cannot be asked responsible without authority. It will be ridiculous. That's why we need a KPI, all the things. But at the end, the most important thing, how you build accountability. A lot of people always ask about clear role. What is my authority? I can make my own responsibility. But when in charge take accountability, no one to want to take. When you find a novelty, you want to claim you are the best. Eh? If you fail, you don't want to put that.
Yes, you just push it somewhere else.
Yeah, you try to use your Tai Chi way, whatever way. So nothing specific. Just go through. No need to complicate it because life is beautiful. Enjoy it. Learn it. Like you on your first question, I'm not answer when you mentioned about Henry Beans, but like swimming, you mentioned that what I think. Yeah, you should jump it. Just go through. No need to worry. You will learn along the way. That's what I believe.
Yes, you may be, you may be drowned a little bit. You may breathe in water a little bit.
That's life.
The pain, the pain is actually make you learn better. And then you also come outside your comfort zone as well. Just like what you mentioned. Yeah, if you want to be a good leader, learn from the bad boss. So you will program your mind, to solve problems when you are put outside the comfort zones.
Yes, and always one thing maybe we should remember. Sometimes the definition of success that we won't go through our leaders could be different. What I believe from the gut that expect you to you. I have a lot of experience. I want to transform one department very quick. I want to change a lot of things when I lead something. I'm a very impatient person. But in certain circumstances, God not allow me to do that. In that department, I'm being forced to understand how to manage people, how to manage conflicting issue, and I don't achieve something actually. At the end, I become a firefighter. At that time, I'm so frustrated because I don't know what I said. What I'm doing, I don't understand. Every day I came to the office, I was very tired. A lot of things, a lot of different conflicting, not clear structure. But when I grew up in my career, I realized in that part of journey, actually, God not asked me to deliver something. He used that moment to teach me to learn something.
Yes.
Remember, when you are a leader, it doesn't mean you always know everything. You should create something, but sometimes you should learn something in the situation.
Yes.
That's why you just go through, no need to worry.
Yes, I think like
learn to swim, drown for a while, like.
Yeah. So I also think, like understand that we are part of human, part of God's creation, and how we linked spiritually makes us humble, and we strive to keep learning. Yeah, and this is also answer the one of the question by Yas Rama Saputra. How can you overcome and get the motivation to learn from making an intuitive decision? I think I believe this answer have been done already.
Yes.
Yes, and then also come from other anonymous attendee. He or she did not put his or her name. So his or her question is, I am seeing nowadays that one single bad result is enough to ruin the people's trust toward a leader. Do you think that it is more important than ever for a leader to spend his time maintaining his image, or do you think this is a non-issue? So I think like his or her highlight is about the single bad result and how are we going to face this to maintain our image as a leader.
If you ask me, I should say never try to maintain your image. If you try to maintain your image, you start to lie to yourself and you start to lie to your teams. That's what I believe. Just be yourself. Tell the truth. That's the most important thing. If you ask me the words that one small thing can ruin your leadership, whatever, the most important thing is what? Your integrity. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Your integrity is the most important thing. When we are young, we never understand about that.
Yep.
When you grow up in the top position, you know that's too expensive and you cannot buy from the money. That's why don't try to build your image. Just be yourself. Learn something, try to understand something, respect other people, tell people about your weakness. No need to worry. We are not a perfect human. So just tell people, this is my weakness. I need you to support me in that area. In that area, I'm strong. In this area, I'm weak. I want to learn from you. Work as a team. Respect others.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's more important thing. That's why if you I mean manage your image. No, that's why I cannot become a politician. People say I'm too blunt. I cannot. I cannot. Be. Yeah. What do you want to do? You want to manage your image? No. Who am I with all the talents? Or who are of us? We are just a human being. We are not perfect.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
learn from each other. No need to manage our image.
Yes. Or probably, politicians have their own leadership model, Pak. We never know, yeah, Pak.
Yeah, we never know. They have a different sequences, but
Yes,
they,
Pak.
people say they learn a lot of things through different
Yes,
environment too.
and maybe,
That's a different game lah. Like you play
yes,
football and
different
you
game. I
play
think,
basketball, two different kind of roles.
yes, I think like this is how the intuitive leadership play in the different field, which is the politics, Pak. Yeah, Pak. I think that this discussion is getting more interesting, Pak, but unfortunately, the time is running out. Yeah, so I would like to wrap up the session. Yeah,
Thank you.
so yeah, leadership is a very multidimensional. Yeah, as long as we know, yeah, the most correct way to deliver this intuitive leadership, as well we know other people, as well we know how to align with other people, we understand, we empower them, and we walk the talk like what you said, and then we have our own integrity, not to worry about the image, we can become a leader. And also we need to step out from our comfort zone, learning continuously, and one day we become a better leader. And I would like to say a very big thank you, yeah, Pak Erwin. This is a
Most welcome.
very useful insight even for myself, Pak. And then this also comes to my realization, yeah, managing a human resource is no simple task. Yeah, so that we may need to um, study this a different model like what we mentioned also, and we hope that this can become a very useful lesson to all of us, Pak. Once again,
Thank
I
you.
thank you, Pak, and we are really honored to have you here, Pak, to share your insight, Pak.
It's an honor
Yeah.
for me too to share to all of you.
Yes,
Keep
yes, Pak.
learning.
Thank
I'm
you.
learning a lot too.
Thank you very much, Pak.
Thank you. Keep
Yeah.
safe. Keep healthy. All the best.
Yes, yes, Pak. Thank you,
Okay.
Pak. So I will return this back to Acha. Yeah, Acha.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richard. It doesn't feel like we are already at the end of the event, yeah, because the discussion is very exciting. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming today all, and thank you so much for Mr. Erwin for sharing the knowledge. And
Thank
also
you.
don't forget to fill out the evaluation form to get an e-certificate. My name is Acha. Along with Mr. Erwin and Mr. Richard, we would like to excuse ourselves from this webinar. Thank you so much and see you in other webinar. Bye
Thank you.
everyone. Thank
Have a
you
nice
so
Okay,
much.
see
day.
you.
Have
Have
a
a
nice
nice
Bye.
day
All the best.
day.
all.
Stay safe. Stay healthy.
God
Stay
bless.
safe, stay
God bless you.
healthy,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.